success, redemption. From the colorful and glamorous world of modeling and show business to the dark chapter of drug addiction, homelessness, and losing direction in life. But despite all the mistakes and trials, his is a story of hope, transformation, and second chances. Today, the former actor and model who once fell victim to addiction now leads a mission to help others escape the same path he once walked. I'm Angelique Lazo, and this is In Person. Ito ang In Person. Our guest tonight is a former Philippine male top model of the 1980s, an actor and a living testament that transformation is possible even in life's darkest moments. Please welcome in person, Mr. Lito Gruet. Good evening, Lito.
Hi, good evening,
welcome to our
Angelique.
program.
Good evening to everyone watching and all those following you and your program.
Rewind tayo, ano? Sino ba si Lito Gruet bago sumabak sa mundo ng modeling at show business? So even this is before you even broke into modeling.
Okay, I was an average regular student in Cebu. I grew up there and I studied at the University of San Carlos. And I was living my life with a well-provided family. And I had my plans and ambitions to become an architect. So after I did my high school, I went to college. And during my second year, I got introduced to modeling because somebody told me then that, you know, there's going to be this Levi's group from Manila na pupunta sa Cebu, magkakaroon ng show sa mall, sa Gaisano Mall, or was it White Gold, no? Hindi pa nasunog yung White Gold noon. So I said, I never tried that. Sabi na nyo, you have the height, you have the looks and everything. Sabi na, it's just for fun. Then they'll give you free jeans. Yun ang ano eh.
Masaya
Meron
ka
yung
na sa
501 jeans. Tapos sabi ko, naku, lalo na noon, pag sinabi mong Levi's original, wow. Oo, talagang ano ka talaga. You are somebody already. So sabi ko, yes, sige. Sabi nila, plus 50 pesos per show, weekend. Sabi ko, yun, may pera na. 50 pesos was kind of big for us before. So through it all, we started doing the shows. And I was so mesmerized by yung pagmamodel kasi. Kasi sa isang pangkaraniwang tao na going through the motions of everyday life, as you know, as a family member, as a student, as a friend. Ito ngayon yung ibang pagkakataon kasi pag nasa rampa ka, iba na yung mundo bigla eh. All of a sudden you see everyone looking up at you and admiring you. Parang sarap ng feeling, eh, naglalakad ka. So for that brief moment, parang you are transported into another world wherein napakasarap ng feeling ng ego. Parang feeling ko, wow, pogi pala ako. Wow, tinitingnan ako ng mga tao. So that led to my wanting to try modeling in Manila kasi I met nga yung mga taga Manila na tao and I said I'd like to visit them. Kasi dream ko noon ay para lang masabi maka-model ako sa Manila kahit sa department store. Masabi ko lang, I tried Manila. Eh, Manila noon, grabe yung lalo na pag sa probinsya, pag Manila ang...
Iba yung image.
Oo, iba yung dating noon. So sabi, I wanted to try that. So eventually, I asked permission from my mom. Ayaw nila. Kasi sabi ng mama ko, mapipikot ka, galit sila sa mga mistiso, at kung ano nung nagsasabi noon. But then pumunta pa rin ako. I really went to just to try my luck. So doon ang umpisa yung yung pag-transfer ko. That was 1980. 1981.
Okay. Paano naman napasok ang show business? Like yung mga pelikula, yung acting and all that.
Kasi when I started modeling with Pitoy Moreno, no?
Oh,
So
yes.
fortunately, I was able to meet him in a disco noon, and he approached me. Kasi hindi ko na nahanap yung mga taong hinahanap ko eh. Walang mga address.
Okay.
In short, uwi na sana ako kasi wala akong pera. Yung talagang pera ko, pang 200 pesos na lang siguro. So eto nga, I went to this bar and somebody approached me and said if I would like to model. Tapos sabi ko, yeah, that would be nice. But then akala ko pinipick up ako. Pick up lines.
Yes.
So then sabi niya, if you want, I'll give you my card. Punta ka bukas. So nagdadalawang isip ako, pupunta ba ako? Wala akong kilala sa Manila eh. So I said, nandito na ako, might as well. Wala na akong pera to stay longer eh. So the next day I went to the shop. Sabi ko, Pitoy Moreno shop talaga. So I went there and I saw all these mga top models, no? Yung mga nakikita ko lang sa magazine. Tapos sabi ko, totoo pala ito. So sabi niya, may show tayo ngayon ha. Saan tayo mag-show? Diretso kami sa Malacanang. Binigyan ako ng 1,500. Ang laki ng parang
Agwa.
paldong-paldo, as they say now, paldong-paldo talaga. Sabi ko, wow, may 1,500 na ako. Tapos the shows were almost every day and sometimes even at night. So I decided not to go home anymore. I didn't pursue anymore my schooling, which is wrong. It's
You let
really
it
wrong
go,
for the
oo.
children. No? Don't do what I did. I didn't finish my schooling and I decided to continue my life there. So I started modeling for all the top designers. I started to travel. I did shows in the best hotels, iba. Lalo na sa Malacanang, talagang that was an experience, iba. Hindi lang pangkaraniwang model ka kasi pag Pitoy Moreno model ka, pinipili niya eh.
Piling-pili.
Hindi ka lang top model, piling-pili ka because he has a certain category na hinahanap niya sa mga model. So naswertehan ako, I decided to stay. And of course, when I stayed, I did more shows. Ito nga, pumasok ang mga commercials. I did so many commercials. I would do about 3 or 5 a month. No?
Wow.
So self-supporting na talaga ako. So hindi na ako umuwi. So I was telling my mom, kita mo, Dad, I came out in magazines already. Eto na ngayon, together with that, ang katandem niyan is, of course, meron ng mga nag-o-offer ng
Acting.
TV, yung mga manager, yung mga talent scout. So, for me, pumasok na talaga ako. Sabi ko, eto na, this is my time to be somebody. Sabi ko, ganun. So, I did a lot of guestings. Kasi babae, yung palibhasa lalaki. Ang dami, no? Ginawa ko. And then, eventually, eto na yung pumasok yung showbiz talaga. Yung mainstream na movie. So, that's how we started.
Pero nung time din na yun, parang mainit din yung mga tinatawag na sexy movies, di ba?
Oo, yes.
Oo,
Yes.
and that was pretty much the theme of, or the way, di ba, movies were being made. So, Papan, how did you adjust into that kind of, from a more conservative life sa Cebu, tapos biglang iba na yung exposure?
Na-shock na yung family ko sa akin eh.
Oo.
Well, in the beginning, I did wholesome movies actually. Yung Shake, Rattle, and Roll, horror yun. The first Shake, Rattle, and Roll, yung second episode with Janice de Belen. And then, towards the end, I did Akyat Bahay Gang. And I did many, Just Say You Love Me. And then, Paano Hati ng Puso. I did that with Edo Manzano. Tama ka, that time, nagiging uso na talaga yung sexy films, no? So, umabot sa punto na pag wala na akong ginagawa, wala akong mga offers, gano'n, meron nag-offer sa akin, mga gumawa ng mga sexy film.
More daring.
And
oo.
yes, mga daring. And in the beginning, ayoko talaga. Ayoko talaga. So, it wasn't something I was comfortable with. And umayaw ako so many times. But until dumating ang time na sabi ko, kailangan ko na rin, kumita, diba? Self-supporting ako. So I did a lot of, hindi naman lot, no? Pero yung several films na medyo sexy yung theme niya, which honestly speaking, in all honesty, I really regret very much.
You wish you had not na lang done it.
Yes, kasi isipin mo, hindi ko pinapanood yun. Ginawa ko, bahagi ako ng pelikula, hindi ko pinapanood. Hindi nga ako nagdadub. Pag dubbing na, hindi ako sumisipot dahil I wasn't really proud of those movies that I did. Until, yung isa, galing Regal Films. Akong ginawang bida, and the director was Marilu Diaz Abaya.
Okay.
So sabi ko, ito ang dapat kasi quality, ito artistic ito. Hindi tulad ng iba na
What movie was this? Do you remember?
It's Sensual with Charito Solis and my future sister-in-law, Chanda
Yeah.
Romero. Ayun, of course, Marilu Diaz-Abaya and with Barbara Benitez.
Meron ka bang hindi malilimutang eksena, ayan, sa isang pelikulang ginawa mo?
Well, okay, isang hindi malilimutan na eksena. Actually, sa totoo lang, yun parang comedy Di ba? Yung eksena ko sa Shake, Rattle, and Roll na sa second episode, yung refrigerator na kumakain ng tao, pumapatay ng tao.
Okay.
So, ako yung detective noon. So, during the time na pumapatay na yung siya ng tao, eto ngayon, here comes the knight in shining armor. Ako yun. So, ginakain na hinahatak na si Janice de Belen sa loob ng rep. Itong ngayon, di ba? Tinutulungan ko si Janice, di ko kayang hatakin
oo.
So, ang ginawa ko, nakita ko may plug. May yung plug doon. So, binunot ko. Nawala yung spirito sa loob. Nawala. Sabi ko sa loob-loob ko, is this really electric powered pala yung multo, 'di ba? Yung that was one moment sabi ko na I was laughing at that situation na yung pala yung maligno pala is electric powered.
Ayan. Oh, that's funny. At sa ating pagbabalik, mag-uusapan naman natin kung paano nakabangon si Lito mula sa pinakamababang yugto ng kanyang buhay sa pagpapatuloy po yan ng In Person. Nagbabalik po ang In Person at kasama natin para po sa kanyang life-changing sharing si Ginoong Lito Gruet. So offers were there, di ba? So sa gitna ng iyong kasikatan, pagiging in demand, and of course, andyan yung income, yung pera. Ano sa tingin mo yung naging kulang sa buhay mo noon, yung mga panahon yun?
Well, I can freely and confidently speak now after all these years that I've been clean. And when I've surrendered myself to God, acknowledge Jesus Christ as my Savior, nakita ko na napakakulang ng spiritual relationship ko. I had none Parang I was in that stage wherein yung mundo ko was really focused on myself at saka kung anong makukuha ko, anong enjoyment ko, na nawala ang Panginoon sa buhay ko. Kasi I grew up in my family is basically Catholic sila. I studied in Catholic school, di ba? And most of the people Catholics naman. Go to the Catholic church. So I've been a Catholic since I converted to being a Christian last November 2023. So now masasabi ko, during that time, had I had a stronger relationship with God, then maybe hindi aabot sa ganun. No? Kulang na kulang kasi parang I idolize myself Di ba? Nakalimutan ko dahil sa pride, parang hindi ko na kailangan ng Lord, I don't need you, parang I'm
Talagang
okay
you
na
depended
ako,
on yourself alone, na parang
Yeah, kasi everything pag
Was being
masaya
given to
pa,
you.
di ba? So hindi ko alam ano palang hinahanda niyo sa akin.
Paano nag-umpisa yung episode mo with drugs, yung paggamit ng mga pinagbabawal na gamot?
Well, okay. Actually, yung pag-experiment ng drugs, during that time, I don't know much about now, but yung mga habang lumalaki ka, high school, di ba, as you got to college, you experiment. Maraming
tikim-tikim,
mga drugs doon.
ganyan?
Oo, inom, gano'n. But may marijuana, meron doon all those drugs before, mga ekis, gano'n. But puro lang, tikim-tikim lang, experiment. I never got hooked. So, even ngayon, when I got into showbiz, akala ko na I would go out, marami mga drugs din, gano'n, tikim-tikim lang. But during the advent of methamphetamine, yung shabu, dun talaga dun talaga nagkaletse-letse ang buhay ng mga tao. And during that time, usong-uso siya, everybody was almost into it. And I can say this, when I was using it already regularly and still doing movies and TV,
How was that
The-
like? Ang hirap siguro pagsabayin.
Hindi naman. It depends din sa ano eh. Kasi sabi ko noon, everybody was into it. Alam mo, Angelic, yung masasabi mo na kung ikaw ay hindi gumagamit, ikaw yung
Ikaw yung oddball. Parang
ikaw yung abnormal.
abnormal.
Diba?
Oo.
So everybody was really used. So it was no big deal. Hindi yung big deal. So parang sabi ko, kaya ko naman until I tried shabu. A friend of mine asked me to try. I didn't, in the beginning, sabi ko, ano yan, parang kakaiba. Yung shabu kasi, it's not like a pill. You don't inject it, you don't smoke it. It's crystallized and ilulusaw mo sa foil or
Don't
sa
you
test tube.
inhale it, di ba?
Oh, you inhale it. It's a hyperactive drug. Alam mo ba yung for those of you who don't know how, kasi ang iba kasi sasabihin, yung shabu, ano ba talaga, pwede naman i-stop yan. Ito yung nasasabi ko. I-name everything na pinakamasarap na naranasan mo sa buhay mo. Pwede, pwede intimate relationship, di ba? Pwede, the best food, the best yung happiness mo, nanalo ka ng jackpot or whatever, no? It releases dopamine in the brain kasi happy ka eh. But then, it only releases about 200%. Pag masaya ka, release yan, di ba? Happy,
But,
shabu,
oo.
makes it reach 2,000.
Wow.
So
Ibang
from
levels.
200 to 2,000. Na iba talaga. So, imposible hindi ka makahook eh. So that's what happened to me. Akala ko when my friend said, tikman mo to. Sabi ko, ayoko niyan. Then pinilit ako eh.
And so, the minute you tried it, you got hooked to
I
it.
got hooked.
Ayun. And how
Because
long?
it was a certain feeling na
Na gusto mong
gusto mong balik-balikan.
ulit-ulitin.
Correct.
Oo.
You know?
And how
But
long
you never
were you?
would ever reach that same high. You always try to chase it. You keep on taking and taking.
And the more
palaki
you-
tataas yung dosage mo eh.
Pero hindi mo
Diba?
na
Hindi mo
maabot
na
yung dating
maabot
height.
yun.
Ayun.
Until later on, darating ng point na talagang sagad na, instead of taking so you will feel happy, you will be taking so that you will not feel bad.
Ayan na.
Oo.
Oo. And how long was this?
16 years.
16 years?
16 years.
Wow,
From
that's a long
1984 to year 2000. Pero yung pinakagrabe ko na, yung nasasabi kong incorrigible na ako, hardcore, was about 1988.
Hindi ka na makausap noon? Ano nang nangyari
Nakakausap naman ako, pero tumatalon na yung mga isip ko. Alam mo, you were asking earlier kung bakit naging uso yan. Paano nakakatulong yan sa mga nag-aartista, gano'n. Kasi, as I said, it's a hyperactive drug. At saka sa panahon noon, wala pang Eddie Garcia Law. Di ba? Sagad,
Diretsong
lagare.
trabaho.
Lagare.
Tama.
Di ba? And you had to finish a certain scene, for example, kasi binayaran na ng production ang bahay, di ba? Inupahan, nandyan yung catering, nandyan yung equipment rental at lahat-lahat. So talagang tatapusin yung isang eksena.
Oo.
Di ba? Otherwise, magbabayad sila ulit, di ba? Ayaw ng production
So, para
ng ganyan.
siyang upper siya, di ba? Hindi
Upper
ka
talaga.
inaantok. So,
Upper. So,
dire-diretso.
gising na gising ka.
Oo.
And then, para pagdating, halimbawa, madaling araw ka natapos. Sa tanghali, meron ka namang noontime,
Ibang commitment. Oo.
commitment na naman. Sa hapon, meron ka naman personal appearance.
Ayan,
Tapos, meron ka. Sagad-sagad yun. So, doon talaga na-hook rin yung mga artista. Marami sa kanila. Because they really wanted to cope with
Yes.
the demands.
Okay. Ano ang nawala sa'yo sa mga panahong iyon nung nalulung ka sa bisyong ito? Ano rin yung mga maaring sabihin na pinakamasakit na nangyari sa buhay mo dahil dito?
Ang pinakamalaking nawala sa akin, although I lost my job. I lost
The offers
the
stopped?
respect of people. I lost my car. Wala, pera ko, lahat. It's all gone.
Magastos kasi yung vision
mahal
po,
yan,
di ba?
mahal talaga. So, my biggest masasabi kung failure talaga or yung pinakamalaking impact was losing self-respect. Di ba? Sa mga addict ngayon, yun ang kailangan talaga ibalik nila. So those in recovery, you can do anything you want. You can, get your job back. You can, try to do everything, be productive again. But if you do not get back your self-respect, yung
Yeah.
tiwala mo sa sarili mo, hindi ka gagaling.
Yun.
Hindi ka
Tinong
gagaling.
nawala. Meron ka bang
Kasi yung iba, material lang yun eh. Pwede ka
Yeah.
magtrabaho ulit. Pag
Oo.
matino ka na, pwede ka nang, you can do
Ito
so
yung-
many things.
yung self-love mo, no?
Yeah,
Yung self-respect
self-confidence,
nawala. Oo.
self-love. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's a better word actually.
Okay, looking back, meron ka bang mga na-pinpoint na tao na medyo sinisi mo? Or talagang you would admit na ikaw lang talaga yung dapat sisihin?
Ako lang talaga. I admit it. Tulad nga sa ngayon merong 12-step program sa rehab, no? They have different programs, different modalities. Sa 12 steps naman for those in recovery, alam nila, I'll just mention the top 3, no? The top 3. Step 1, step 2, step 3. The first one is acceptance of powerlessness. Diba? If you do not accept you are powerless, there is no recovery that can begin. Second is you have to acknowledge and believe in a higher power. So in our case, si God, no? Or si Jesus. So yan ang higher power. And we believe that they can bring us towards sobriety. He can bring us towards sobriety. And the third is to surrender everything and let go to that higher power. So yung tatlo pa lang yun, no? That's 12. Pero nakikita mo na talagang kailangan talaga na you admit, without humility and acceptance, there is no recovery that can begin.
Yes.
So yung 16 years ko na ng addiction ko, hardcore addiction, was really a very big learning experience. And the difference kasi is when you are actually living it at the moment, iba yung
You don't
takbo
see
ng
it,
utak mo
no?
eh. Hindi mo
Hindi
nakikita
nakikita.
eh. So, yun nga, later on, I regret everything. Everything nag-flashback sa akin, yung malinaw na yung utak ko, naka-recover na ako. Nakita ko lahat yung mga pinanggagawa ko na masasabi ko na totoo yung sinabi nila that the drug, especially shabu, it hijacks your behavior and it hijacks your identity. Because all these addicts, all these users, especially sa methamphetamine, they start doing things already, things that they would never do. They were never taught to do.
You lose control of
You
yourself.
lose control and you will be and then you lose your identity. Ikaw mismo hindi mo nakilala yung sarili mo.
Okay.
Ang mga tao hindi nakilala kung sino ka. Kasi iba na yung takbo ng utak mo. And that's what is very dangerous. Where the public should know na yan ang pinakamahirap sa addiction.
Ayan. Sa yung pagbangon, Lito, ano yung naging turning point? At some point in your life, you decided, naku, I can't live like this. Para talikuran mo ang paggamit ng yung mga pinagbabawal na gamot.
Sa totoo lang, in 16 years, ang daming turning points ko eh. There was a time na doon ako, sa kalye na ako, nakatira, sa squatter.
As in like homeless?
Hindi naman homeless, it was being homeless by choice. Hindi na ako nagpapakita sa pamilya ko, nahihiya na rin ako.
Okay.
Dahil istorbo na ako sa kanila. So I was doing everything on my own till it reached the point na I didn't care anymore. Natutulog ako sa PICC, sa Roas Boulevard, yung mga bato-bato doon, sa Luneta. Sa mga
Sidewalk?
park jeepney.
Oo,
Doon sa mga bato sa baba talaga.
Oh my, oo.
And I would just sleep anywhere. Then if I was hungry, mag-shoplift ako.
Hi.
Then pumasok ako dun sa kaibigan ko na sa squatter. So nagbenta na rin ako ng drugs. At doon nakita ko actually, what I saw there is really a learning experience. Kaya sabi ko, iba yung plano ng Panginoon sa akin. Because He made me see these things that children were being exploited. Diba? I have seen, kung dati mga barkada ko noon, puro mga artista, model, mga politicians, mga people from upper society. Nung nag-standby na ako doon, ang mga barkada ko puro kriminal. And the thing is, it's okay. It's already, I adapted to that life. I accepted already that I would die as an addict. So be it. So yung mga karnaper, holdapper, mga bukas kotse gang, forger, bugaw, prostitute, lahat ng klaseng kriminal, yan ang naging barkada ko doon. And the thing that really struck me now, which is really one of the reasons why I'm very passionate about reaching out and doing drug symposiums to the students, is because I saw the children there, how they were being abused and exploited. Meron mga bata doon na walang mapupuntahan, wala silang opportunity to learn about, social emotional learning, yung mga self-love nila. They were just going through the motions. Isang bata doon, inuutusan, naging drug runner. Uutusan kumuha ng drugs, uuwi siya sa bahay ng tatay niya, nanay niya, kapatid na lalaki, kapatid na babae, puro pusher. So 24/7 yung bahay yun, parang 7-Eleven, pasok-labas mga adik, doon tumitira sa loob. Yung bata, paikot-ikot lang, nasisinghot niya yung usok.
At sa kanya parang normal yun, di ba?
Normal lang.
He doesn't know any better.
Even for me, parang the beginning, ang akin lang, gusto ko lang mag-drugs, wala akong pakialam. Never really, hindi pumasok. Tapos meron doon, nagbebenta ng bata. Nagdadala ng bata for consignment. No? Consignment for drugs, hindi pera. Iiwan nila as collateral yung mga bata. Hindi ko nga alam, and I didn't care before.
Paano nila babawiin, di
at
ba?
kung sa kanila talaga yun, baka kinidnap lang, di ba? So, yeah, I realized all these things, and I saw that environment wherein sabi ko, if we can save all these people in the children in schools by educating them and warning them, so be it. Because lahat ito, wala silang opportunity eh. So, isipin mo umabot sa point na nagda-drive na ako ng carnap na kotse.
Yikes,
Tapos, lowest of the low was yung actually yung pinaka-unforgettable was umabot ako sa point na naghahanap ako ng pagkain sa basura. Hindi naman yung basura, yung basurang basura. Pero mga tinatapon na fast food, minsan ng mga fast food packs, sinisilip ko, baka may tinapay doon or baka may parte ng manok doon na pwede pang kainin. Kinakain ko yun.
Okay.
And the scary part is, when I was living that life, tanggap ko eh. Parang yun ang nakakatakot kasi you get to
parang
accept.
okay na yun. Okay
you
na lang
accept,
yun.
parang wala kang responsibility.
Yeah.
Hindi na ako nagpapakita anyway sa mga kasamahan ko noon. Hindi ako nahihiya. So, hindi ba yan? Wala akong ligo, wala lahat. Wala na akong ipin noon eh. I had to reconstruct my teeth now. Ang
talaga.
dami kong sakit noon. I was hypertensive, I was borderline diabetic, I had gout, I had cystitis, kaya umiihi na ako involuntarily. I needed a diaper already. Tapos ang dami kong sakit noon, mga skin disease. So, hindi pa rin ako hindi ako nadala. Ilang beses ako muntik pinatay ng isang syndicate member. Bugbog ako ng pulis. Diba? Na-news ako, front page sa isang newspaper. Hiyang-hiya ako sa mga, sabi ko sa mga ano kayong pakiramdam ng mga kamag-anak ko, nakita na front page na drugs, diba? Actor Lito Gruet.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can show it, but nakalagay doon. So, I can't imagine how I would be able to recover.
So what happened? Nauntog ka ba? Paano ka nakapasok sa rehab center? How did everything change for you?
16 years is a lot of time for so many crazy things to happen. Ang dami kong experience.
For sure.
But I do believe that it was meant to be. Somebody planned it. Kaya, as we say, who we are now is the sum of all our experiences, good and bad.
Right.
Diba? And that molds us into who we are now. Kaya itong mga tao, mga bata na unfortunately doon sa kali lumalakit lahat, you can imagine the kind of person they will be when they grow up.
For sure.
Lahat ng trauma, lahat ng pain, lahat ng hiya, di ba? So, when that happened, lowest of the low was when I was already stealing from my mother who was dying of cancer already. No? Sakit na siya.
So
Then-
umuwi ka sa Cebu for
No, I
this?
was here in Manila
She was
na.
here,
Yeah,
okay.
Manila with my uncle. And pinipilit ko siya. Yung pera niya kasi our family, sadly, parang nag-down na rin kami, no? So, nakikitira lang kami dun sa kasi namin sa Pasig, no? Mga Rojas, the Rojas family. Pension lang niya sa veterans at saka SS, yun ang pera niya. Tapos yun ang pambili. Ninakaw ko pa yun. Pipilitin ko siya, sasabihin ko, Ma, ako na bibili ng gamot mo. Wag iho, kasi alam ko, mawawala ka na naman. Sabi, hindi Ma, ako na. Ako na bibili, kukunin ko yun. Mawawala na naman ako for 1 week, 2 weeks, ganun.
Alam
Ganun
na
na
niya.
kamanhid.
Oo.
No? Kamanhid. Ako. When my dad was dying, I had the chance to go and see him pa. Last few moments, my family was calling me. That time, I cursed him pa.
Ay.
Sabi ko, why? Sabi ko, Lord, bakit mamamatay yung dad ko? Ba't ngayon pa? Kasi nakabigay na ako ng pera sa isang runner. Saka alam ko, pag bumalik yun, wala na ako. Ubos yung drugs. So I had to make this choice. Anong pinili ko?
Anong pinili mo?
Siyempre, drugs. Siyempre, drugs. Pagdating ko, wala na yung tatay ko. He died already and my family was looking like me. Gusto nila ako sakalin because alam nila kung saan ako galing.
Sa pagbabalik natin, pag-uusapan naman natin ang misyon ni Lito Gruet na tumulong sa mga nalululong po sa bisyo at yung di mga nagiging palaboy sa lansangan. Sa pagpapatuloy po yan ng In Person. Nagbabalik po ang In Person at kasama pa rin natin ngayong gabi si Ginoong Lito Gruet. Battle Against Ignorance Foundation. So, una-una, why that particular name? Bakit ignorance?
We chose the name Battle Against Ignorance because we truly believe that ignorance is the greatest destruction to society. When you talk about ignorance, especially sa society, for example, irresponsible parenting, teenage pregnancy, AIDS, gambling, drugs, or all these issues that people lack awareness of, ito yung nakaka-destroy talaga ito. No? So kailangan we have to share to the general public that, there are consequences to all these things. So you have to make the right choice all the time. Kaya nga, Battle Against Ignorance is our aim is to not just to rescue people from the streets and help drug addicts, and probably we will venture later on into helping street children and mga teenagers na in conflict with the law rin. Papasukin din namin yan. But for now, we are rescuing all these people in the streets. Yung mga nakasama ko noon, nakikita ko eh. Tsaka I really want to help the kids. Warn them. Kasi nakita ko rin yung kung paano naman yung buhay ng mga hindi nagagabayan. No? So, Battle Against Ignorance.
Oo.
Yeah.
So it's ignorance of the victims and ignorance also of people.
Ignorance of
Looking
people.
at those who, di ba?
Exactly.
Who suffer from
and
addiction.
one of our missions is to spread awareness. That's why if any of you would like to invite me for drug symposiums in schools, no, I'd be very willing to. We have a team also kung gusto nyo. Ngayon, kailangan kasi malaman din ng general public. Number one is that hindi lahat ng addict masama.
Yeah.
They are not evil people. Although there are drug addicts that are already criminally inclined. Sila talaga itong yung mga pumapatay, sila yung nang-rape, sila nang hold up, di ba? And these addicts deserve to pay for the crimes that they committed. No? I am for that. Walang excuse yan. Pero karamihan na naman ng mga addict, the general majority, ay hindi masasamang tao. And I know that because I've been around the rehab world. Nakikita namin ang mga tao na sabihin natin talamak na addict, sabihin natin yung ano na problema sa society, di ba? Problema sa magulang, ay na-transform sila.
Oo. Pero they deserve a
They-
second chance,
yes,
no?
they deserve a second chance. Like me, hindi I don't believe I'm a bad person. I just made wrong choices.
Made
Like
the
everybody else, kahit hindi ka addict, you make wrong choices. Yung mga addict, they make wrong choices also. So, for me, I'm not a bad person. But because of drugs, I changed. My mindset, I changed. I was controlled by the drugs.
Yes, oo.
And I deserve also a second chance na maibalik ulit sa dati.
Yan.
And this is our goal also. Yung mga naging addict, hindi sila masasamang tao talaga. Nadala lang sila sa epekto ng droga. Of course, it's still a crime. But ito yung mga taong to, dapat ibalik natin, give them a chance to save them because a lot of them are good parents, di ba? Good fathers, good mothers. They are, they are good children. They are good employees, di ba? Marami kasing goodness in them na nasira lang dahil sa droga. Yan ang dapat talagang ibalik natin. So,
Kailangan
wag natin
mabalik.
i-condemn or
Yes,
judge yung mga
oo.
addict.
Kailangan mabalikan.
Kailangan tulungan natin
Oo,
sila.
That's right. Ano yung mga pangunahing programa ninyo dito sa Bai Foundation? How do you actually go about rescuing people and helping them change para maibalik yung kabutihan sa kanilang kalooban?
Okay. Isa rin, kailangan malaman ng tao yung mga nakikita niyong taong grasa. Minsan, inaapi sila, pinagtatawanan sila, pinagdidirian sila, di ba? Hindi ito masasamang tao actually. Some of them are already predisposed to psychosis, but hindi nila pinili na maging taong grasa or maging mendicant. No? If you look at their background also, the social workers check on them, malalaman mo na lahat sila dumaan sa trauma. Some form of trauma when they were young. Same with drug addicts, no? Marami din ganun, dumaan. Merong dysfunctional family, merong binubuli sila, merong sexually
Nini-rape,
molested
oo,
or
tama.
abused. Merong yung mga sibling rivalry, yung mga they feel unloved, di ba? Yung tatay addict, yung nanay sugarol or lalakero. So, ito yung mga bagay na dapat intindihin natin. Kung pwede lang, we have to help them recover and rebuild their lives. Tulad itong mga taong grasa na rescue namin. And ganun din, tutulungan natin kung kaya pa na maibalik ulit ang dignidad nila. We cannot leave them in the streets like stray dogs.
So you pull them out of the
Yes,
the street or
Oo.
the
In
environment
coordination
they're in. Oo.
with the local government, no? Tapos we look for their families para sasabihin namin na hindi namin kinikidnap, di ba? Pag may family, we need their consent.
Oo.
Dadalhin namin, tutulungan namin, gagamutin namin, pakakainin namin. We will shelter them and everything, and we will try our best to give them back their dignity. At least hindi na sila sa kalye. For those that we cannot help psychologically, at least they're living a better life. Ito nga yung sabi ko, nakita ko ito sa kalye. Kaya alam ko, lahat ng nangyari sa akin ay isang on-the-job training. Because I was asking God so many times, Lord, tulungan mo na ako, tanggalin mo na yung craving ko kasi di ko na kaya, ayoko na. Tulungan mo ako, pero ayaw. Sabi ko, ikaw talaga, Lord, pinatatawanan ko. Ayaw mo ko tulungan, ayaw ko na maniwala sa'yo, galit ako. But hindi ko lang nalaman na later nakita ko, in hindsight, I was still on the job training.
Yeah.
Pinaranas niya talaga ito
May process
para
talaga.
makarating ako dito sa Bai Foundation. And I'm
Right.
happy to say that marami na kami natulungan. We will be showing photos about those that transform. Tapos, ito ang highlight. Dalawang artista na
Yes.
kasabay ko sa 80s.
Na nakasama mo rin
na
before.
ganun din, sa kalye, naging addict, nangangalkal na ng basura. Ito namang isa, naging katulong na, tsaka nagbebeg siya, nanglilimos, lahat. Na-rescue namin. Si Josephine Manuel at si Brandy Ayala, mga sexy stars sila sa 80s, na naligaw rin yung landas, pero hindi ibig sabihin, masasamang tao sila. No? So, I'm happy that I was given this opportunity to help colleagues. And that's what I hope also we can help also other colleagues na marami kasing sumikat noon or naging bahagi ng industriya, pinabayaan na, di ba? Kawawa na, oo.
How are you able to find them, no? Meron bang network ng mga manggagawa sa pelikulang Pilipino na alam mo 'yon,
Sa social media.
nag-uusap, oo.
Social media.
Oo.
Lumalabas sila sa mga nagba-viral. Marami kasing vloggers.
I see, oo.
Tulad ni Brandy, napanood ko kay Morley Alinio, which wherein Morley was also very instrumental. Thank you, Morley. In pag-rescue sa kanya. So nag-ano kami, gumawa kami ng plan. Kasi kawawa na siya talaga eh. You know? Imagine, her neighbors would tell her na sana kunin na siya ni Lord.
Ay,
Ganun,
oo.
because of the suffering. Si Josephine naman, hindi rin niya alam na nagbe-beg na pala siya. Tapos gusto niya maging katulong na lang, nagiging katulong, giging labandera. And, you know, for me is that they deserve better. So we're trying to rebuild their lives. Tsaka pag okay na, lalo na si Josephine, we will also try to find her a job. No? Para pag-release namin sa kanya, meron na nakahanda. Hindi lang siya, otherwise babalik siya ulit sa begging eh.
But she
Babalik-
looks good, ah.
She looks better na.
Ang ganda ng transformation
yes.
niya.
Babalik niya yung dignity nila eh. So meron naman kaming mga supporters, lalo na meron kaming dentista na si Doc Wendy Uwano, napakabait talaga. Lahat ng mga scholars namin, free yung service, free yung dentures, lahat.
Sa mga nanonood, paano sila maaaring makipag-ugnayan sa Bai Foundation? Maybe meron silang gustong ipa-rehab or pwede rin makatulong din sila in terms of the things that you need.
Pwede naman silang tumawag.
Pwede by email din?
Meron kaming Facebook page called Battle Against Ignorance Foundation. Yung website namin, inaayos namin ulit, no? Kasi it was taken down. So we have to create a new one. So, yun, no? And for those of you who may want to help us, help more Brandies, and help more or Josephine Manuel, meron nga yung isa dyan, 30-year teacher na naging 30-year addict, no? So, naging viral siya. Talagang talamak siya na addict. But now, he's already duly employed sa Safe Haven as their records officer at sumasama siya sa akin when we do drug symposiums. Isipin mo, inspirational speaker na
Oh,
siya.
nice.
Dating nasa kalye.
Ayan.
Oo.
At sa huling bahagi po ng ating panayam, pag-uusapan po natin ang pag-asa, pagpapatawad, at mga aral sa buhay sa pagpapatuloy pa rin po ng in-person. Nagbabalik po in person sa huling bahagi po ng ating programa ngayong gabi at kasama pa rin natin si Ginoong Lito Gruet. Okay, kung babalikan mo at makakausap mo ang batang Lito Gruet, ano ang sasabihin mo sa kanya given all these things that you've gone through and all these things that you've learned about yourself and about life?
Huwag maging masyadong adventurous. No? Yan kasi yung problem ng mga bata ngayon, di ba? Like, without being knowledgeable, or sabihin natin na without being aware of the consequences of making wrong choices. No? Gusto ko sana sabihin sa sarili ko na bago ka mag-isip ng kung ano-ano or magdesisyon ng kung ano-ano naman, kailangan talaga we have to ask the guidance of our God, no?
Yes.
To make the right or what decisions to make. Kasi, sinasabi ko rin na kung hindi rin nangyari yun sa akin, hindi rin ako makakarating dito sa ginagawa ko ngayon. So, I do not really regret about what happened to me because I know it led me to what I'm doing now,
Sa
which
higher
is
purpose,
paying back to
oo.
help other people also. Parang yun ang paying it forward for my salvation.
Pero what a journey it has been, ano? All those years talaga na
Oo.
yung mga kwento mo talagang
Grabe,
mas malala pa sa mga eksena sa pelikula. 'Di ba? Ang
Oo nga eh,
tindi
parang-
eh. Okay. So sa lahat ng pinagdaanan mo nga itong mga kwento mo sa lansangan, sa mga basurahan, etc. Madilim man 'yan o naging masaya man 'yan yung mga eksena na 'yan. Ano Sa tingin mo, ang pinakamahalagang aral na natutunan mo?
Na merong pag-asa talaga. Again, babalik ko, kailangan wag mawalan ng tiwala sa Panginoon. Kailangan na, I have this saying kasi, yung BTS, no? Believe, trust, surrender. Pag yan ang ginagamit mong gabay, at saka meron kang relationship kay Lord, madali na kasi yung, harapin yung mga challenges. No? So, once you believe, once you trust, and then you surrender everything, things will be, will go smoother in your life. So, ngayon, masasabi ko, huwag mawalan ng pag-asa. Lahat kasi may pag-asa. The only time you fail is when you don't try. Diba? And for those that have failed, it's okay to fail because you did not lose. You learned something out of it. You learn a lesson out of it. So you can use that again for your next attempt naman to try to succeed. So, kahit na sabihin natin sa mga magulang dyan na hindi alam anong gagawin kung addict yung anak or di ba or sasabihin na hindi naniniwala sa rehab ganun, what I'm saying is you have to be proactive. Huwag niyong kalimutan na krimen din yan. Karamihan sa mga magulang hindi nila iniisip na krimen din yan, may consequences din yan. At saka kailangan i-educate nila yung mga anak nila habang bata pa sila. Di ba? To prepare them for their life as they get older. Kasi otherwise, tulad sa amin, wala kaming drug abuse symposium noon, wala rin kaming alam, di ba? Kung ano lang meron, sige, pasok. Without knowing that there are consequences to these mistakes.
Tsaka kung minsan, do not give in to peer pressure, di ba?
Peer
Porket
pressure is,
sinasabi nila,
it's the
"Ay,
number
okay,
one
yan."
reason why people get into drugs.
Ayan, okay.
So the family should address the issues with the children. A lot of them do not listen to the children na meron na palang nararamdaman na pain, no? And they should most especially listen to what they are not saying. Kaya maraming yung nagsusuicide na kung anong pinagagawa. Kasi
Or naghahanap ng outlet, di ba?
nahanap ng outlet,
Sa iba.
which is why madali sila matempt. Kasi makikihalubilo sila, makikibarkada sila sa mga ibang mga kaibigan nila na ganun din yung nararanasan. So they feed on each other. So the parents should be the first line of defense talaga. Know the children, know what they're saying, but also know what they are not saying.
Oh, maraming salamat sa iyong mga pagbabahagi ngayong gabi at sa iyong matapang na pag-share, no? Yung kwento at inspirasyong hinatid mo sa mga taong patuloy na nakikipaglaban sa kanilang sariling pagsubok at patuloy na hinahatid sa mga naghahanap ng kahulugan sa kanilang buhay. Ang iyong buhay ay patunay na sino man ay may pagkakataon para magbago, muling bumangon at mamuhay ng malaya, mapayapat, katuwang ang pamilya na nagsisilbi sa kapwa. Muli ating pong nakasama ang naging aktor, modelo at ngayon po ay masigasig sa Battle Against Ignorance Foundation, Ginoong Lito Gruet. Salamat po. Tonight's conversation reminds us that every mistake is not the end of a person because through opportunity, through love and hope, a life can be transformed and can even help transform the lives of many others. At yan po, ang tunay na mukha sa likod ng mga balita at mga isyong pinag-uusapan, matapang na humarap at nagpakilala. Ako po si Angelique Lazo at ito ang In Person. Thank you, Lito. Sobrang dami kong na-pick up sa'yo.